Books on tape. The book is Sex by Madonna, text by Charlton Heston, page 63.
I like my vagina. Sometimes I stare at it in the mirror when I'm undressing and wonder what it would look like without any hair.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Hello and welcome back to Down the Simpsons Hole, where I just complain about moldy old Simpsons DVD commentaries from 20 years ago. And I think I have an interesting and unique episode to talk about this time. It was the 26th episode of the series, and the 13th episode of Season 2. It's called Homer vs. Lisa and the 8th Commandment. It was episode number 7F13, and it originally aired on February 7th of 1991. It was written by Steve Papoon and directed by Rich Moore. And of course, the showrunners for Season 2 were Matt Groening, James L. Brooks, and Sam Simon. So if I compared this episode to the rest of Season 2, I'd say that it's above average. But if you were to compare it to pretty much any episode from Season 5 or Season 6, well, it's easily below average in that case. And obviously this episode heavily touches on religion, and it's basically a morality play. But what can I say, I actually like this episode. But I could easily understand why someone would want to skip it. It's not exactly an eventful episode. Most of it takes place while the Simpsons sit on the couch and watch television. And as far as Steve Papoon is concerned, well, this is the only episode of The Simpsons he ever wrote. But he did write for other TV shows like Alf, It's Gary Shandling's Show, and Get a Life. And unfortunately, we'll have to listen to his commentary posthumously, because he's no longer with us.
So this is from The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
From the
1991.
Yeah.
1991.
Well, now I know the first line of my obituary.
He passed away almost a year ago. So let's just go ahead and start the commentary and see what he had to say for himself back in 2002.
Hi, I'm Al Jean.
I'm Steve Papoon, the writer of this episode.
This is Mike Reese.
This is Matt Groening.
And this is Rich Moore. I directed this episode.
This episode is Homer versus Lisa and the 8th Commandment, which won the Emmy for Animated Program our second season.
This was our second Emmy, right?
Second Emmy. The title was originally Homer versus the 8th Commandment, which is Thou Shalt Not Steal, but we had found that shows with Lisa in the title were so popular, we added her name too. Although it always seems really clunky to me.
It's very clumsy. You got to admit, too, we do it to make the cast feel a little better, too, make sure all the characters are represented. And I wouldn't say that, except I know they won't be listening to this commentary.
One thing about this episode is whenever people say that The Simpsons is just sort of this outrageous show that, you know, has no moral center, I always point to this one where, you know, Homer gets an illegal cable hookup, which many people have done, and the consequences he suffers are enormous.
Mm-hmm. I always say there's religion in The Simpsons, and it's an Old Testament religion where the punishment is severe and far outweighs the crime.
One thing I can say, too, is when we try to think of story ideas, this always helps us. We say, well, the 10 Commandments gave us one, then it gave us another when the Homer didn't go to church, so it's been a good source.
So Mike Reese always makes this comment about how The Simpsons depicts God as the vengeful Old Testament God, rather than the New Testament God. You know, the one who made the covenant with Goyim. I mean, seriously, when you look at how religion is depicted on The Simpsons, you see them attending church every week. But what kind of church is it? It looks like a Christian church, but the only time Jesus is ever mentioned is when they're making fun of him.
Oh, save me, Jeebus! Could Jesus microwave a burrito so hot that he himself could not eat it?
And I do think The Simpsons briefly tried to promote religion, but the religion that was promoted was one that Ben Shapiro would approve of. It just sort of masquerades as Christianity, which seems a little manipulative. And if we're talking about being manipulative, in the Discord server for this channel, a frequent viewer recently asked me if I thought this episode might have been written as a response to the negative feedback this show was getting from Christians. And I definitely thought that was an interesting idea. But after hearing what Al Jean said just a few moments ago about hiding behind this episode whenever pressured about this, I'd not only say it's possible, I'd say it's quite likely that this episode was meant to repair the relationship this show had with its Christian viewers. I'm not sure that's the case, but it certainly seems like it, especially if you go back to the video I made on the episode called 2 Cars in Every Garage and 3 Eyes on Every Fish.
Bart, would you like to say grace?
Dear God, we pay for all this stuff ourselves, so thanks for nothing.
This got us in a lot of trouble. A lot of right-wing conservative groups used that line of Bart's as proof that this show was anti-God and anti-American and all that stuff, and over and over again for years.
Really?
The show was nailed just because of that one line.
It never ceases to amaze me how surprised he always is that Christians are offended by blasphemy. Anyway, I'll shut up now so we can finally start the episode.
This is a great opening.
This first opening that we did where it was a fantasy or a flashback to the past.
Did you reference the 10 Commandments for this?
A
or-
lot, yeah.
A lot.
They were as children who had lost their faith. They were perverse and crooked and rebellious against God. They did eat the bread of wickedness and drank the wine of violence. And they did evil in the eyes of the Lord. And the people cried, "The graven image hath brought us joy." And they worshipped the golden calf and sacrificed unto it.
Hey, good evening, Hezron, carver of graven images.
Ah, good evening, Homer the thief.
Hey, good evening, Zohar the adulterer. My wife sends her warmest regards.
Oh, yes. She's a good woman. Very good.
Thank you, my lusty friend.
It's like Jacques.
Yeah. I think it was based on, I think this is the first time we did very dramatic skies and clouds, and it looks a little busy, but...
The Lord has handed down to us 10 commandments by which to live.
This is Phil Hartman as Moses.
Moses is back.
Was this the first show that Phil did a voice for?
I think it was the second. He was in Bart Gets Hit by a Car as Lionel Hutz.
Hutz is the name, Mr. Simpson. Lionel Hutz, attorney at law. Here's my card. It turns into a sponge when you put it in water.
Ooh, classy.
But I think this was the debut of Troy McClure. We'll get to later.
And Phil is doing his pretty good Charlton Heston impression.
You are not worthy to receive these 10 commandments. Thou shalt not steal.
I like how they're basically getting fired.
Yeah, I should box your ears, you sneaky Pete.
Is it, Tiger?
Hey, you easy. Now get off my property, off.
Hey, Flanders, who put that bug up your butt?
Oh, I wanted to subscribe to that new arts and crafts channel.
And I remember just going wild with cable parodies, even the little joke about the arts and crafts channel, just because nobody had done it. It was a new thing, kids, if you can believe it.
He offered to hook me up illegally to every cable channel for only $50.
Fools! Hey, stop, cableman! Stop!
Homer getting hit by the truck is from North by Northwest,
Yeah,
right?
shot by shot, basically.
So we've gone from Cecil B. DeMille to Hitchcock, and we're a minute 3 into the episode.
Sure, there'll be some Citizen Kane in there somewhere.
What do you want? I want free cable!
And believe it or not, this isn't the first appearance of this character. He was also seen in the Season 1 episode, Homer's Night Out.
Hey! I hear ya, buddy! Full moon. So you've decided to steal cable.
So I believe this is our second inappropriate pamphlet joke. The first one was just 2 videos ago, in the episode 1 Fish, 2 Fish, Blowfish, Bluefish.
Perhaps this pamphlet will be helpful.
So you're going to die.
The first of many, Inappropriate pamphlet jokes in The Simpsons.
See, the clown is a treasure that will last a lifetime.
Cable.
And you get the
It's more
pleasure of
wonderful than I dared hope.
It's a shopping channel, and that's what brings a tear to his eye.
Toilet paper. Don't you hate it? When you go to the bathroom, and there's no toilet paper.
Jerry, can I get a selfie?
Sure.
Free Palestine!
I don't care about Palestine.
Oh, it's funny because it's true. The Simpsons have cable.
Cable? We have cable?
That's right, 68 channels, MTV for the kids. VH1 for us.
VH1 Video. It's one.
1,600 hours of quality programming every day.
So I was living my life just fine without knowing this. But the internet has pointed out to me that 1,600 hours of programming divided by 24 hours in a day makes the number of cable channels 66.666 and so on. But I would argue that most cable channels, especially back then, only did 12 hours of programming, not 24. So whatever, read into it however you please.
Fact. Most movies shown on cable get 2 stars or less and are repeated ad nauseum.
No wire hangers! What's wire hangers doing in this closet when I told you no wire hangers ever?
Back in the 80s, HBO treated Mommy Dearest like it was the greatest film ever made. As a small child, I watched this woman beat her daughter with a wire coat hanger so many times, I was permanently scarred for life.
In the next half hour, we'll show you how to cut your first aid bill in half by making your own Band-Aid.
So the joke here is supposed to be that cable television in the 1990s would produce shows about anything. I mean, homemade Band-Aids? We're talking about a piece of tape with a tiny strip of gauze. But decades later, there are actually videos on YouTube of people showing you how to make homemade Band-Aids. I mean, look, this girl just used a tiny piece of tissue paper. What kind of moron would be interested in watching this?
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Now, before we begin, you'll need 5 yards of sterilized cotton.
I like that the kids are so absorbed in making Band-Aids.
El mumeo lo pone en el sleeper hold. ¿Dónde están los médicos de México?
Ooh, pro wrestling from Mexico. You know, down there, it's a real sport.
Oh, cool. This is where Jaws eats the boat.
Jaws did not eat the boat.
Cool. This is where Die Hard jumps through the window.
So Die Hard actually jumped off the roof and then went through a window.
This is where Wall Street gets arrested.
He's right, Wall Street did get arrested, but I still think he probably missed the point of that one too. Also, why is Homer and Marge letting him watch films like that in the first place? He's only 10 years old.
They must think people will watch anything.
Live from New Orleans, this is the World Series of Cockfighting.
That's Harry Shearer doing a Vin Scully voice.
We've had all the introductions. We've had all the pomp and circumstance. We've had all the fuss and feathers. But it's time. It's time for Dodger baseball.
Oh, son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou tonight.
Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou.
We'd get there quicker if I drove my dad's car.
I don't know, Davy.
We'll paint it a brand new color, and it'll look just great. Goliath? What are you doing in there?
Getting a splinter out of my nose.
Well, come on out. Goliath!
Yes, indeedy. It'll look just great, but I sure hope you can patch me up.
You know, I think this might actually be the first appearance of the ass groove.
Now, I don't want you to get frightened, but it's my responsibility to teach you this.
So the last time we saw the kids in Sunday school, it was the episode The Telltale Head, which was also directed by Rich Moore.
The ventriloquist goes to heaven, but the dummy doesn't.
Oh,
Me. Bart?
What about a robot with a human brain?
I don't know. All these questions. Is a little blind faith too much to ask?
But in her second appearance on the show, Miss Albright no longer wears glasses. So either Rich Moore got lazy, or Miss Albright went to the eye doctor and got contacts.
Today's topic will be hell.
Hadn't Bart already been to hell by this point when he got hit by a car?
Yeah, but it was just a friendly devil.
Played by Phil Hartman. No, that was Harry.
That was Harry.
Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm the devil.
I just remember he said Bart couldn't come back, wouldn't be dead till the Yankees win the World Series, which has happened 4 times since.
According to this, you're not due to arrive here until the next time the Yankees win the pennant. That's nearly a century from now. Boys, my face red.
Well, we're wrong on that one.
Yeah.
A bouncer to deep short. Jeter, long throw. Diving is Cal. But he can't get there in time, and the Yankees win the pennant.
As a matter of fact, if you actually saw hell, you'd be so frightened you would die.
So this is where things start to get a little weird for people who have seen later episodes like Lisa the Skeptic. I mean, she's practically an atheist in that episode. But in this episode, she fully buys into religious morality. But it really sort of makes sense if you think about it, because the writers of this show tend to impose their beliefs and opinions onto Lisa. They sort of use her as the sobering liberal voice of reason. And just like everyone else, liberals initially get their morals from organized religion. But they like to pick and choose. They reject the morals they don't like, and then completely misunderstand the morals they do like. For them, it's just politics that they like to wear as a suit made of religion. And I'm not exactly sure when the writers started doing this with Lisa, but if I had to take a guess, I'd say it was probably when David Merkin made the deal with Paul McCartney to permanently make Lisa a vegetarian. I mean, after doing that, it's pretty much no holds barred, right?
How does one steer clear of this abode of the damned?
By obeying the 10 Commandments. 10 simple rules that are easy to live by.
We used to do a lot of those kind of transitions of dissolving the background to a different location and holding the character.
As sure as hell can't tell you we learned about hell unless I say hell, can I?
We did a lot of these too, where Bart would say hell or bosom or bastard based on the fact that it was the actual term.
This shot is a pretty good example of a twister mouth also. When you see a character's head turn one way and their jaw faces the other way, that's a twister mouth, which you never see on this show anymore. But in the first couple of seasons, there were quite a few of them. There was even one in the clip that I showed earlier of the Telltale Head, which was also directed by Rich Moore.
You're no longer in Sunday school. Don't swear.
That's the favorite joke I ever wrote, by the way. Marge says, Bart, you're no longer in Sunday school, don't swear.
And this guy hasn't had a single thing to say up until this point. If only he could get Al Jean to shut up for a few seconds.
Dad, are you sure this isn't stealing?
Read the pamphlet, honey.
You know, we really should pay our respects to Marge's plant.
Hello, I'm Troy McClure. You may remember me from such movies as Cry Yuma and Here Comes the Coast Guard.
I think mostly I get requests for a character I do on The Simpsons, Troy McClure. And he's sort of a B-movie leading man. Hello, this is Troy McClure. You may know me from such motion pictures as Hitler doesn't live here anymore, and sorry, wrong closet. But tonight I'm answering Bob's telephone. He's not home right now, so please leave a message at the tone.
So this is the first appearance of Troy McClure, who was based on a composite of Troy Donahue and Doug McClure, two 50s sex symbol actors.
And years later, I met Doug McClure had passed away, and I met his daughter, and I said, was he aware of this? And apparently he was a big Simpsons fan, and he's watching one night. He sees Troy McClure come on. He goes, are they making fun of me? But then he thought it was really funny, and apparently his kids behind his back would call him Troy McClure.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet the inventor, Dr. Nick Riviera.
Thank you, Troy. Hi, everybody.
So I believe this is our second appearance of Dr. Nick, alongside the first appearance of Troy McClure. And in Dr. Nick's first appearance, it was in the episode Bart Gets Hit by a Car, which was not only the first episode to feature Phil Hartman, it was also the first appearance of Lionel Hutz.
You're not a doctor. The boy's not a doctor. I'm not a doctor. The only person in this room who even comes close is this man.
Stop! You're embarrassing me.
And because the script for that episode calls Dr. Nick's character Hutz's doctor, and the script for this episode has him named as Dr. Ernesto Conforte, then my assumption is, when they had Phil Hartman in the studio, he was only there for a limited amount of time. And instead of spending that time creating 2 new doctor characters, they just created one and used him for both scenes. And all this was most likely recorded in the same studio session. So the creation of Dr. Nick Riviera solved 2 problems. But this episode is the first one with Dr. Nick's famous catchphrase.
Hi, everybody!
This is a beautiful sequence, Rich.
Very ambitious.
Come on, Lisa. Watch a little cable with us.
There's that Harry Shearer double.
Oh, it won't cost you a thing.
Except your soul!
What's happening to Lisa?
Beats the hell out of me.
Bart!
Ah!
So we finally made it to the first act break. And if you've enjoyed this video so far, I would encourage you to like, share, and subscribe.
Did you throw that in? I remember that in storyboards. Was that in the script, or did someone?
No, we just kind of added it.
That's
Just
great.
A rolling shopping cart.
And obviously, we're supposed to be looking at Marge eating grapes that she hasn't paid for. But come on, Maggie's doing stuff again.
Mom, what are you doing?
What? What do you mean?
Jimbo shoplifting is enjoyed.
Jimbo shoplifting apples.
You know how those kids love apples.
Thou shalt not steal!
Oh.
Almost getting your mother arrested for theft? That's a paddling.
Just charge me something, please.
Yeah, okay, all right. I need a price check on 2 grapes. Yeah, you heard me, Phil. 2 measly, stinking grapes.
So now she's holding up the line at the supermarket. She inconvenienced this guy at his shitty job, and this makes her happy. That's a paddling. Also, in the script, there was a scene that got removed of Marge and Lisa driving back home from the grocery store. In that scene, Marge actually thanks Lisa for correcting her while they were in the supermarket. And Lisa complains about how morality should be black and white, and that she's worried about being the only one who gets to go to heaven. And as she's talking about this, out the window she sees a man taking too many newspapers from a vending machine. Officers Eddie and Lou taking apples from a produce cart, and some random guy robbing an armored vehicle. And this was never mentioned in the commentary, so I'm not sure if they cut this scene for time, or if it just wasn't working for some reason. But I do think it would have been a helpful transition between the supermarket and the following scene with Homer and Lisa.
Why is the world such a cesspool of corruption?
Oh, great. Hi, what makes you say that?
I mean, we're stealing cable as we speak.
Oh,
Overall, these kind of episodes, they're my favorite episodes. I think they were the most fun to write, or the most challenging. When you have a solid theme or an issue that you can discuss endlessly and just presents itself in so many different ways. I remember reading, I think, the outline for the script, and it was the grape scene where he's going, gee, there is a lot of little theft everywhere.
The other thing I thought was great is we could do parodies, through what Homer saw on cable and do them just as long as we wanted without playing it out too long. And it's something that the show has become very famous for, just their cultural satires.
Al Jean may actually be onto something here, which would make this one of those rare instances where I actually agree with Al Jean on something. I mean, there have been plenty of satirical references to pop culture in all the previous episodes as well, but the amount of those types of references in this one is like a double or triple portion compared to the previous episodes.
well, run for the hills, Ma Parker, before I call the feds.
Dad, I think that's pretty spurious.
Well, thank you, honey.
Homer seems a lot more real in this episode than he seemed to become in a lot of the later episodes. I mean, later he seemed to become a complete moron. Here he's sort of making a good point. I mean, he doesn't know what the word spurious means, but...
Scientists have estimated his IQ drops 5 points a year. But no, yeah.
From working at the nuclear power plant.
Tonight we'll answer some of your questions. Professor Lawrence Pierce of the University of Chicago writes, I think Homer gets stupider every year. That's not a question, Professor.
And since he started at 65, season 13, he's down to 0.
About to knock the other guy out.
Ooh! How can one little insulated wire bring so much happiness?
It's been over 2 decades since I've had cable, but I'm pretty sure this is not how you're supposed to enjoy it. And that's why Lisa's disappointment in her father will not require a paddling.
There's the power plant crow.
Oh, and after the fight, we can watch the still photos on the 11 o'clock news.
Not too shabby. What do you say, Homer?
So Carl's voice doesn't quite sound right to me in this episode, and I believe this is only the 3rd time he's spoken in the series. The first time was in the season 1 episode, Homer's Night Out.
Hey, don't worry. Things are going to pick up once the entertainment gets here.
Ooh, entertainment.
Yes, sir.
He wasn't even voiced by Hank Azaria in that one. Instead, Harry Shearer did the voice. But in the season 2 episode, Simpson and Delilah, it seemed as though they got Carl's voice nailed down.
Quit complaining, Crumb Dum.
But in this episode, it just sounds a little more high-pitched to me.
Not too shabby. What do you say, Homer?
Plus, according to the script, his name isn't even Carl. It's Smitty.
This is a nice set. We never really used this.
I don't think we've ever been back.
We were back one time when Homer was an artist, and he was sketching Lenny and Carl naked as a body study.
I believe the episode he's talking about comes from season 10. It's called Mom and Pop Art.
There's the power plant crow.
Homer, you're making us a little bit uncomfortable.
Relax, big guy. He's just doing this for his art. Right, Homer?
Oh, yeah. Art.
This was a very strange scene.
Yep, things started to get a little weird in season 10.
Weird. I always liked them saying we could watch the photos of the round by round updates. It's like that would be exciting.
I like the guy enjoying the shower in the back.
We could do that, yeah. Or we could go over to my house and watch the whole thing live on cable TV.
Get off!
He's Homer Simpson, sir, one of your drones from Sector 7G.
So Smithers and Mr. Burns have this conversation about Homer quite often. And of course, Mr. Burns never remembers who Homer is. And so far, this is only the 2nd time we've seen this conversation in the series. The first time was in the episode 1 Fish, 2 Fish, Blowfish, Bluefish.
Hey, Burns! Eat my short! Who the Sam Hill was that?
Why, it's Homer Simpson, sir, one of the schmoes from Sector 7G.
Simpson, eh? I want him in my office at 9 o'clock Monday morning. We'll see who eats whose shorts.
I love that Burns has a video camera there.
Also, that Burns doesn't have cable. He's so anxious.
Oh, this was a long time ago.
Well, you are quite wealthy.
Thank you, Smithers. Your candor is most refreshing.
It's so fun to hear Harry doing both voices. You know?
I think this is one of those phases where we wanted to work Burns into everything. Big Burns scenes.
Again, we were a little intoxicated, I know, writing his florid prose.
Well, if we run out of ideas, there's Barfly number 1 and Barfly number 2 that we can always
spin off.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that today, the way Popeye was a peripheral character in the original comic strip, and now he's there 85 years later. That someday, people will be watching The Mo Show in the year 2060.
We can only hope and dream. The Mo Show.
8 o'clock, my place. Come on, come on.
Wow.
All right.
He has a bell in the bar just for that.
Just for that.
Yeah. And now it's gone.
You should see him boxing it up.
Mo's Bar over the years has had a lot of discarded appliances. The mechanical bull, the love tester, all in the same corner.
I'll get my brother Sanjay to cover for me. He deplores violence of all kinds.
I think we spend a lot more time with Apu in this one than we have in previous episodes. And for episodes like this one, it would actually be pretty easy for Disney just to remove all the scenes that have Apu dialogue in them. But for all those episodes that heavily feature Apu, my guess is Disney will eventually remove those episodes. Or they'll just hire an Indian actor to re-record all that dialogue. Either way, all the offensive jokes will be removed completely. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but sooner or later, Disney will remove all the offensive jokes from this show.
Even if a man takes bread to feed his starving family, that would be stealing?
No. Well, it is if he puts anything on it. Jelly, for example.
I believe this is the first time we're seeing Reverend Lovejoy's office.
He had a fun time decorating Lovejoy's office with the decoupage clock with the sunset up on the wall. And these big chairs that made Lisa look so small across the desk from him.
I think it was Sam Simon who always emphasized this, that in this a standard Simpsons, you would think the minister would be totally corrupt and womanizing and cheating, and he was always just sort of a real human being. He was a character we protected and put boundaries on, and he was never that bad.
We're getting cable for free.
Well, I'm afraid that is stealing, Lisa. And I think you must do something.
So the dialogue in this scene has been shortened. In the script, Lisa tells Lovejoy that her family is getting free cable. Then she asks him if that's stealing. And Lovejoy answers with, not only is that stealing, it's stealing in part from the Christian network. And Lisa says, I knew it. Then Lovejoy tells her, well, you must do something. The problem with dishonesty is it poisons your life, makes you petty, venal, and suspicious of others. You may think you're getting something for nothing, but you're really paying for it with your peace of mind.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
Then Lovejoy explains to Lisa what the word thy means, and of course Lisa already figured that out from the context.
Set an example by not watching the offending technology yourself.
Thank you, Reverend Lovejoy.
And at the end of the scene, Lisa thanks Lovejoy, and Lovejoy tells her, glad to help, Lisa. I've always encouraged the children in our parish to come to me with their problems. Of course, this is the first time it's ever actually happened.
Coming up next, Stardust Memories.
Remember, we had a lot of fun coming up with the like movie titles. How do they do the effect, Rich, where you see the light going on and off from the TV?
Well, sometimes they'll do it as an actual animated line with a paint effect, but I think this is a second pass that they do under the camera, where it's just a shadow effect that's just kind of jiggling back and forth.
I promise I will never watch that channel again.
Good boy. Horsies.
Sorry, I'd rather go to heaven.
In the script, Lisa's line was, I'm afraid you missed my point, which is much less effective.
We usually put these scenes in the middle of a show where, once we've gotten the moral dilemma, we have Homer and Marge talk about it just in bed, and it seems to really ground the show very well.
Yeah, they look very reasonable.
And it's always so hard to stage, too. The two of them laying in bed talking and rolling over towards each other. And
Maybe we should think about unhooking the cable.
Unhook it? But I love cable.
So in the script, Homer continues by saying, it's exciting. It's unpredictable. Cable's brought me all these new friends. New friends? Marge asks him. And Homer says, yeah, like the guy in Hawaii with all the muscles. The couple in Boston who made a fortune at seized property auctions. And Joe Franklin. And I believe the reference to Joe Franklin still is in this episode. But it was moved to the end, so we'll get to that one later.
The cable stays, the foot is spoken.
I remember Jay Kogan acting that part out at the animatic meeting about how he should put his foot down. Should be more like this. Get under my foot and look up at it.
The cable stays, the foot is spoken.
And that's the end of Act 2, so it's time to wrap it up.
Lemonade? Please.
Seen it.
Lemonade? Please. I made it just for you. You are my best friend.
Cleans and straightens your teeth.
Seen it.
I was poor like you.
Who was the I Was Poor Like You, a parody of? Homer was flipping through the cable channel. There was a I Was Poor Like You.
Oh, that was it Tom Vu?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Not everyone is fortunate enough to know my techniques of how to make a lot of money.
A $500 value, but I'll let you have it for $40.
In the script, Homer says, wow, wait a minute, is it stolen? And the cable guy says, well, I pried it out of a guy's car and hit him when he tried to stop me. So technically, if you want to call that stolen, I suppose.
I like how suddenly everyone turns extremely evil.
Homer can't afford cable, but he sure put in a lot of locks and security.
Yeah, and those bars.
Which we've never seen again.
That's why we won an Emmy, because we thought of lots of new things.
This top hat always made me laugh.
It's nice how you can see it's made with construction paper. Nowadays, again, Bart seems to have access to some costume warehouse.
He dresses as a rabbi.
And now, the Top Hat Channel is honored to present broadcast news.
I remember we all looked over at Jim Brooks at the read because he wrote broadcast news, and there was no reaction to our satire. At least we didn't do sperms of endearment.
Now go to your room!
Man, I wish I was an adult so I could break the rules.
Oh, great.
So Homer actually stole Bart in the script. He also mentioned that he would cancel that channel if he was paying for it, which is actually an interesting thought. Homer can't even put a parental restriction on that channel. Everything is unlocked and unrestricted. Illegal cable just doesn't offer those kinds of choices. Look, it's daytime, and then Marge opens the door and it's nighttime.
Amazing! Just a select circle of my friends.
Oh, hello, Mr. Homer.
This is a joke, and it's hard to remember before they were friends. And the idea
Yeah,
of who would actually be welcome in their home.
We just put a joke in the show where they have a weekly badminton game.
Oh, no, sir, there is no love lost between these two warriors. In fact, we almost had a scuffle earlier today at the weigh-in.
And that's Harry Shearer doing a Keith Jackson-style voice. I think that design is based on Marvin Hagler.
Marvin Hagler, and the other guy's obviously Mike Tyson. You see Don King in the background.
Yeah, I think the name Drederick was the actual name of a fighter George Meyer had seen.
But I'm not watching this fight. It's my form of nonviolent protest.
Originally, Apu responded to Lisa by saying, "May I suggest that a hunger strike can also be effective?" But apparently it was cut.
Again, I've never seen these mugs at Moe's either. This is the Steve Papoon touch, just making up a bunch of jive and throwing it on our show.
That's a little homage to my college days when I couldn't leave a bar without stealing one of their glasses.
Yes, also the Springfield Nuclear Power Plant monogram.
With the stencils. And
office supplies.
Oh, hello, Simpson. We were just in the neighborhood and thought we'd drop by.
I love the running joke where Mr. Burns never recognizes Homer. It's like twice in the same episode.
Yeah, we finally gave up on it about 2 years ago.
Smithers, the Cheetos.
I remember we had a debate over whether it was Cheetos or we should invent a fake cheese snack, but people just thought the word Cheetos sounded so funny.
You Homer Simpson?
Yeah.
In the script, Eddie and Lou tell Homer that the tag on his car is expired, and that they won't write him a ticket if he lets them come in and watch the fight. And of course, Homer agrees. But the way it happens in the episode, it really drives home the idea that not even the cops care about Homer's illegal cable hookup.
Word on the street is that you have an illegal cable hookup.
No, it wasn't me. It was my wife's idea, yeah.
That's pretty profane.
Selling out his wife.
Whoa, we're just wondering if we could watch the fight.
I also used to wonder just how poor is Springfield where no one else in town can afford cable television.
Yeah, you would think a guy who makes a living hooking up illegal cable must mean there is cable in the town somewhere.
Well, it's a party.
For 5 years, I was incarcerated, away from my family and a mother to my children.
I think he meant to say mothers of his children, plural. Because that's what it says in the script. See?
There are a lot of fantasies in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Are those really hard to animate? Those kind of circle spinning pans?
Background. No, it's just rotating the character. They just animate the character rotating, and it's a background that hooks up at both ends.
Oh my God! What's wrong with your face?
Chickens. Keep it clean.
I think when the ref said shake hands and keep it clean, it's an instance where we get animation back where there'd be some lip movement, and we try to fit something in at the color really quick.
Come on, boys. I'm cutting the cable as soon as the fight's over.
Dad, we may have saved your soul.
Yeah, at the worst possible time.
Guilting your father into missing the end of the fight.
Ooh, you better believe that's a paddling.
We changed the color, obviously, on the yellow of the skin for night, the different shading.
Why, I once watched Gentleman Jim Corbett fight an Eskimo fellow bare-knuckled for 113 rounds.
Now, this makes Burns about 120 years old, conservatively speaking.
That's why he's walking like that.
I beg you to reconsider. Tractor pulls, Atlanta Braves baseball, Joe Franklin.
Here's a joke that shows how quickly things changed. At this point, Atlanta Braves baseball was a last place operation on cable that you got because of TBS, and it soon became the greatest team in Major League history with the greatest 10-year run. So the joke doesn't really make as much sense as it did.
Kind of the same with Joe Franklin, too.
Oh, yeah.
And here is a young man named Conan O'Brien, a very talented young singer, who
You want to tell the world where you're performing, Mr. O'Brien?
I'm up at the Concord next Monday and Tuesday, Joe.
At the Concord. I Concord. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. O'Brien has recently recorded a sensational new album. It's going to be the biggest all-time hit ever in Billboard, Golden Bullets. The album is built around the world-famous rendition of Man-Eater, which, of course, was a smash for Oaks and...
Hall & Oates.
Hall & Oates?
Yes.
I went to school with them, and this is going to be performed, as of now, in 12 different languages.
That's right, Joe. 12 languages.
Around the world with Man-Eater. Here's a sampling of one of the renditions in Spanish.
Oh, aquí viene ella. Vila, muchachos, es comer a vivos. Oh, aquí viene ella. Es una devoradora de hombres.
We're really past it.
And this is actual static. This is not animation that we threw in.
I animated every bit of that. You can't take that away from me.
Wow, this is an episode that was first broadcast in February of 1991, and it looks really solid.
Looks
The
great.
animation was...
Oh, it was beautiful.
Good job, Rich.
Anyone remember what we beat for the Emmy this year?
That year it was like Tiny Toons and Garfield.
And I think
the Titans.
it was a claymation something. Stiff
We don't always-
competition.
We don't always beat the claymation.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
We lost to the claymation Easter special.
The next
one
year.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So did Ren and Stimpy, by the way.
So unfortunately, Steve Papoon really didn't have a whole lot to say for himself in this commentary from 2002. But in his defense, it's kind of hard to get a word in edgewise when you have a dork sitting next to you who suffers from diarrhea of the mouth. But as far as this episode goes in general, I still think it's a great episode. I think you could actually see it as the beginning of an era. The era of one parody after another, and being filled wall to wall with pop culture references. And by the time we make it into season 3, the number of those types of references gets ramped up even more. But there's also another famous aspect of The Simpsons that I actually think you could make the argument began right here in this episode. And that is the ability of The Simpsons writers to send a mixed message. For example, scenes like the one with Marge, Lisa, and Maggie at the supermarket. While I don't think sampling a couple of grapes from the produce section is a very big deal, it's also something I've never done before and I would have no interest in doing it. I would just buy some grapes. But the real moral issue in that scene for me is the fact that Marge was frivolously doing that in front of her 8-year-old and 1-year-old daughters. I mean, what kind of example is she setting? She's almost as bad as Homer. And another example of this is the fact that the cops, Eddie and Lou, don't even really care about Homer's illegal cable connection. They just wanted to watch the fight. And don't even get me started about the fact that The Simpsons only depict religion in a positive way when they're showing you Old Testament religion. But anytime something from the New Testament is brought up, it's only to be laughed at and ridiculed. And I believe that's all I have to say about the script. And the only other thing I'd like to mention about this episode that I haven't already is the fact that you could call it the dust episode. You see this little piece of dust or hair that's up at the top of the screen? It shows up in multiple shots throughout the episode. This means that one of the animators in Korea probably worked for days on these shots, with that strand of hair sitting there on the animation projector, and they shot scene after scene with it perfectly visible at the top of the screen. Is there a chance they didn't notice it was there? I mean, that person must have hated his job, right? There's just no way he didn't notice. It was probably his hair. Do you even think that guy is still alive? And yet that one strand of hair will live forever, as long as Disney never decides to remove this episode, I suppose. And the very last thing I haven't mentioned yet is the fact that Snowball 2 was heavily featured in this episode. But I would guess most people probably didn't even notice that. So for those of you who are still with me, thanks for watching, and please consider joining the Discord. Our next episode is Principal Charming. I'll see you soon.